So one is residential buildings, the way they are being made in India. Unfortunately, over 90% of them do not take cognizance of the climate. We have a tropical climate in most parts of India, and people are just trying to ape the West. Developers, by and large, are responsible for this, saying that we want international looking buildings, all glass looking buildings. So in places like Mumbai, which have southwest breeze blowing throughout the year, and that's the reason why Mumbai, with its huge population, high density traffic, is still not as polluted as a city like Delhi. The only reason is because it's sitting on the coastline and it's got this breeze blowing all through. And now, over the last 10 years, all these developers have made these complete glass residential buildings where you cannot open your window beyond 6 inches. So you don't get no air. So these people are forced to use air conditioning in a climate that does not require air conditioning for at least 6 to 8 months of the year. So this is the scenario overall, and it's the same thing. So the smaller towns look at Mumbai as an example, and they also want to do the same thing.
Right.
So it's like this whole, follow the leader. And in the process, everybody is forgetting that we live in a tropical climate. We should be able to open our windows. We should have outdoor spaces which shelter the building from the outside and at the same time allow you to walk out because nobody wants to live in a box. Everybody wants that little open space. So, but then again, there are 10% at least which are being constructed in the correct way. But each one of those cases, it's a fight. It's a fight by the architect against the developer. It's a lot of convincing. And finally, yes, some do get convinced. So there is hope. And hopefully, over the next few years, we will see more. The 10% should grow more, the 90% should grow less, so that we have buildings that are contextual to the climate of the country. So up till recently, hotels were the most exciting things because hotels have a lot of public spaces and they have residential spaces as well. And in a hotel, you can really create a complete mood that is totally different from, so the person when he goes for a getaway gets a completely different experience and you can experiment a little more. Once again, the experimentation is subject to the client agreeing to it. So again, there is a lot of convincing that goes into that. But recently, just this year itself, we finished a small community center. It's just a 9,000 square feet building. But when I saw that building being used, by village children, so this building is called the Nokha Village Community Center. It's located in Nokha district in Rajasthan, which is in the middle of Western India, and it has a desert climate. So the entire area has a desert landscape. And here we made this tiny building, and we've seen children coming in bus loads to enjoy that building. We've seen villagers coming and having music programs there. So when you do a building that brings the community together and gives them facilities that they did not have until now, that I think is the most satisfying thing that one can do as an architect. I think when architecture is responsive to the climate, responsive to the kind of people who are going to occupy that building in whichever way it is, and it's contextual to, the social culture of that space, and then yet goes beyond. So there are a lot of people who simply are doing what was done like 100 years ago or 70, 80 years ago and just replicating it. It's not bad, it's nice. The thing is to be contextual and yet go beyond, look at it in a different way, imbibe the traditional values, the traditional planning principles, but just do it in your own way and make something that is exciting and new at the same time. So I think that's what the key is. There are many awards that one would like to get, like the Mies van der Rohe, Pritzker, so many, the Premium Imperiale. So, but I think the most satisfying thing, once again, I'm saying, is the satisfaction on people's faces when you have done something that is new and interesting and different, and they like that building. The satisfaction that you see when they're using that building, I think that far supersedes any award. anywhere. I think the biggest takeaway is to believe in yourself. Firstly, whatever you do must have a reason. It's not that, this is trending, so I also want to do it. Okay, so these colors are trending, I want to do it. This kind of building architecture is trending, so I want to do it. It's not about trends. It's about doing what you feel is right. And when you taken every design decision that you take has to have a reason for it. And if you have that perfect reasoning, and then you will genuinely believe in what you've done, and that belief is what takes you forward more than anything else. It took a long time for this journey, okay, because you learned and you learned and you learned. So you want to make it simpler for the next generation of architects or the younger architects. So it's very important to share what you learned so that they can learn faster. And towards this aspect, we've actually started a whole YouTube series called the Dialogues Design Directory, which imparts knowledge, very brief videos on certain aspects of architecture, and we're trying to cover all the aspects so that people in the free time can go into these videos, learn a lot. So if people are able to learn from what you've done, I think that's a very important thing. You must understand the reasoning that went into it. And if you understand the reasoning, you will know why this was done in this particular way and how it solves so many problems simultaneously together and how it responded to everything. How it responded to the client, how it responded to the climate, how it responded to the surroundings where it is, all of those aspects.